Okay, so on today's video, it is 2025. We have a ton of projects coming down the pipe this year. We obviously have the Jeep XJ that is behind us. This is a Zeph's XJ build. He's, probably a third to a half of the way into it. We have a build that we're gonna do on the Lada Niva. The Lada Niva is this Eastern European 4x4. Nobody really ever sees them in the US. We have an 80 series that we found that was in really bad shape. So we have to decide what we're gonna do with it, whether it gets scrapped for parts and we use the build on something else, or are we gonna save it? If we do save it, what are we gonna do with it? Maybe give it away? I don't know. We're gonna figure that one out. We have a neighbor's truck that we really wanna save. This is like one of those cool old Hilux Toyotas that's been sitting in a field for 20 years.
Got the 80s graphics on it.
Yeah,
stuff. It's
really like sweet. Just looks so amazing.
Yeah.
And it's just rotting. He won't sell it to me, so I think maybe we're just gonna commandeer it and fix it. Yeah. I don't know, we'll see how that goes. We could get arrested if we do that, but then if he knows we're fixing, I don't know, we'll see.
We'll give it
Anyhow,
back.
That's one of the projects that we really kind of want to figure out how to pull off. We have another one that I know it doesn't really fit this channel because we're mostly all an off-road channel, but we really want to build an off-road Porsche. I don't mean the Cayenne like Overlander. I mean like a 944 race car off-road Porsche. Mm-hmm. Maybe long travel and build it so we can jump it.
Yeah.
Maybe stick like a diesel in it.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. That one's late this year, but we're looking for ideas. Are we allowed to go fast, by the way, with it being an off-road channel? I don't think we're allowed to.
Probably not.
Why not? Okay. And then last thing, the shop truck. We've got our 7.3 diesel Power Stroke Ford that takes all the abuse to make the shop function.
Yep.
It has a bent front axle from a car accident. So this thing's getting swapped. We're gonna do an 05 Superduty axle swap on it. Now is the point where we're gonna go through a little bit more detail on each one. So if you're interested in one of them, you can obviously jump to the chapter and check it out, or just listen to it all. But we'll try to keep this moving. So first of all, if you guys don't know Zeph's the new shop manager. He was brought on last winter, basically, fall, I guess. So we're just really starting to get going. We had to do a lot of work to the shop. So we'll have a shop tour coming up on a future episode as well. Let's jump into the XJs behind us. We've got one that's dying and one that's being brought to life. What's the big plan on this XJ? Also, what is it? Because it's a truck now.
Yeah. So this started as a 91 two-door XJ that I cut the back off, and I'm kind of doing like an Ultra 4-esque style build on it. Definitely wouldn't pass tech, but it's kind of cool.
Well, pass tech.
Yeah, I'm stripping my first car XJ, which was a 4-door 2000 XJ. That had a lot of just kind of janky stuff on it that I had done when I was 16 and stuff. So I'm, kind of rebirthing it into this 2-door, making a pretty nice, solid rock crawler.
A lot of XJ builds, I've seen tons of them, and I've seen tons that have like one thing that he's doing. I've never seen an XJ that has all the things that you're doing, because you have a full tube, you have a full frame on it, first of all, which they don't normally have a frame. Then you tubed out the whole rest of it. It's pinched front and rear, which just means he's making it narrower, so he has more clearance for his tires. It has 1 tons going under it that are down there right now. You have a V8 engine in it, which is a Lexus engine, actually.
Yeah, which is pretty unique, I'd say.
Yeah, and that was in this one. So you've already had that all set up and running. You're just pulling it out of this older body that has a lot of rust from Michigan and moving it over here. I think the most unique thing in this build is actually the transfer case.
Yeah.
Because you have a P205, which would originally have been in what?
Well, it's an MP205 out of like a 70s F250. And then I have
70s F250
doubler setup from Chris Bowman at Bowman Transmissions. And so I have an MP231 front and then a 205 rear. So I have a twin stick case with double low. So it's kind of a budget Atlas, I guess you could say.
Yeah, it's basically like a budget 4-speed Atlas.
Yeah.
And then the adapter on it kind of has a cool story, because if you don't know who Chris Bowman is, you can Google him on YouTube. You'll find videos. He competed in the Motor Trend Top Truck Challenge.
Yep.
And they kind of brought that back to Idaho. So there's an Idaho Top Truck Challenge. He's got a crazy truck. And this was actually in his truck he competed in the Top Truck Challenge.
Yeah.
So it's somehow survived all of that abuse and still is pretty good, including a 100% custom shaft, right?
Yeah, the shaft is 100% sleeved and
crazy.
welded together. It's pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, so that was just like a cool piece of memorabilia that's
Yeah.
actually going to get put back to work and back inside of an off-road vehicle. When you look at the Lada build that we're going to do and the Jeep, everybody has opinions on the proper way to build off-road vehicles, especially rock crawlers. We're building these very specifically to the type of off-roading that we have in our backyard. So
Yes.
we have the Waihi Mountains in our backyard, and they don't have as good of traction as like Moab, but they have way better traction than like the South.
Yeah.
So it's still rock with clay and mud. So if you get out there when it's a little wet, it can get slick. But everything has just huge shelves and huge boulders. So 42s, which is going on here, which actually is one thing we're super excited about because Nitto just came out with a 42-inch, 17-inch.
17-inch rim. So
Yeah, that's a brand new
sweet.
tire that just came out, and they're shipping us a set of those to test out on this. So I'm pretty excited about trying out that size. But the rocks out here just have massive ledges. So you're doing a lot of bumping and a lot of aggression, and you're using a little bit more speed than you'd ever use at like Moab.
And there's like just a lot of boulders, right?
Yeah, there's
boulders
just
that'll
huge
cut,
boulders.
cut your sidewalls and stuff. So you need a pretty tough tire, and Nittos are good at that. So
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting. I think a lot of people are going to look at it and go, well, that truck's really heavy. And you're like, it's going to get an insane amount of bouncing abuse. Out here is kind of what you see a lot more of.
and that kind of comes down to driving style as well. Like you could definitely make a light Toyota truck survive, but I kind of like to hit the gas sometimes.
I
So
can make anything survive.
Yeah.
I drive very delicate and slow and calculated.
Exactly.
You drive like a wrecking ball.
yeah, it's fun sometimes. I mean, you know,
Yeah, we've already seen, this thing got a busted drive shaft just a couple weeks ago.
you broke the rear 231 in half. That's why I'm going to a 205. So
Yeah. So he broke his drive shaft. He also busted his transfer case in half. He doesn't drive very nice. So the Lada build, we don't have, that one's still just sitting over there in cobwebs. But the Lada build is coming in after we get both lifts back.
we are collecting like lots of cool parts for it though.
Yeah,
like,
we have all
really
the
cool
parts. We don't have all of them quite yet, but we have all of them are almost paid for.
Yeah.
So we have like a set of Super 60 axles sitting over there. We have the Atlas is on the way.
Atlas is on the way. We
So
have
I
a
cheated.
TD.
Instead of building a homemade Atlas,
Yep.
we just bought one. We knew we'd just want one around in the shop. It might move from vehicle to vehicle over the years,
Yeah.
but so we have a 4-speed.
They're undeniably really good. So
Yeah, but yours is still stronger than mine.
we'll see.
Mine's
We'll see.
probably weighs a third of what yours weighs,
Probably.
though.
That 205 is heavy.
Yeah, so we have that.
And then we have a
full-
Volkswagen Golf with a whole TDI in it, which is
Yeah.
what we think we're going to put in there because there's literally no room to put an engine in that Lada, but we still need some power to turn big tires. So
I'm a little worried about that. So there's two different popular TDI engines. The older version is the one that everyone says is quote unquote easy to swap. And it's mostly just because it has less computers and security stuff. TDI nerds that are watching this, we'd love your guys' input. But even the TDI nerd wars where they argue with each other, it's like everybody says the BEW that's the newer one, has a certain amount of advantages over the older one. And then, of course, the older one has other advantages. So it seems like it's
like anything.
like anything.
We'll get it working.
Some good and bad. But the biggest thing on that one is we've got to get around the security. But we've talked to some people that have done it. You're in contact with somebody that actually did this exact swap in a Cherokee, of all things. So we're not breaking new ground. We're not that smart.
No, we're not. No.
The BEW doesn't get switched into stuff like this that often right now.
I don't think so, but I think it's going to be more popular because it's hard to find the ALH nowadays. So.
Exactly. As those get older and older and older, people have to figure out this stuff. I hate the computer stuff. I hate it more than anything. I'm scared of it probably more than anything.
I mean, honestly, we didn't pick the BEW. We found a really good deal.
Yeah, on a
car.
lower mileage one too. It
a-
really has good low miles for how old it is.
At a super sketchy car lot. We paid the guy some cash and brought it home.
Yeah, we got that whole car for $600, right?
Yeah. And
we're
it's
gonna
actually
pull the
pretty
engine,
decent.
and then we're gonna resell the car for $600.
We're going to try.
I think we can because
Dude, the
most of it's
interior.
nice. The interior's all good.
Yeah.
So yeah, if anybody needs parted out Golf parts, watch Facebook Marketplace. There will be one coming soon.
You know,
The Lada is a really distinct looking vehicle.
It is.
It's the oldest continually produced four-wheel drive in the world. So that used to be Land Rover had that record, and then they quit the Defender series, and they stopped making cars, I think, for 2 years. And that's when the Lada Niva surpassed them.
I didn't know that.
So they've been making this car since the 70s, I think 1971, and you can still, to this day, go pick up a brand new 2025. So it is a long-running vehicle. They haven't changed the body style at all. It still looks exactly the same as it did. So it's just a really distinct car. So when you imagine that on 42s, on a tube chassis, on with a diesel in it, and it's gonna be a weird four-wheel drive. We didn't know what else to do with it, frankly, because it's a wonderful car. It drives great, but it can't achieve freeway speeds in the U.S. It basically has a ripoff of like a Fiat engine almost, so it's not very powerful. If you left it in the mountains, like at a cabin, it would be like the perfect vehicle. But I don't have the
kind of like a utility side by side.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we had to do something with it. We don't have enough space to like just collect cars.
Yeah.
So if it's gonna sit around, it needs to be used. Neighbor's truck is like we said, it's a classic Hilux. It has all the cool decals on it. It's Idaho, so we don't have really big problems with rust here. I'm sure it's gonna have some rust. And it was technically running when it was parked. So we just want to take care of that engine, get oil in it and everything, do a real slow startup process on it, and see if we could just bring it back to life. If we can't bring that engine back to life, can probably find a 22R to drop into it.
Yeah.
But it has some sentimental value for him, and that's why he won't sell it. And I just drive past it every day and feel guilty. So I think we're going to try to figure out, without breaking the bank, we're going to try to see if we can save that Toyota. It's just worth saving. It's just a really cool vehicle. The Tundra, we decided to put the Tundra on a full-blown weight loss plan and turn it into a real, like, actual pre-runner.
Yeah.
We cut out, 700, somewhere between 700 and 900 pounds. We don't know yet. We have to weigh it.
We didn't lose functionality. We still have a spare tire, but we just moved it into the bed. So you lose a little bit of bed space, but with the shock towers and stuff in there, because it's long travel, it's actually not that bad.
Yeah, we'll give you guys an update on this on a video where we'll go through the details, because we built custom bumper for it. We took out the hitch and everything in the back. We took off the dual swing bumper because that saved us a ton of weight. We re-braced that up a different way, and we brought the tail end way high. So we have a lot more clearance on the side of the bed. And then we're currently just working out all the shock tuning, because we switched it over to the spring under leaf springs so we can have more travel technically, but we don't have like everything dialed yet. So we're dialing all that in right now to just be able to go really fast and be really light. I'm going to redo all the wiring in it to even get rid of the second battery. So we're going desert race car on that. And we have a bunch of work to do in Baja this year. So there's a purpose behind getting that thing set in because it's going to do a lot of Baja miles and get a lot of abuse. So what do you guys think of our off-road Porsche idea? Everybody's going to probably hate on it because we mostly only build 4x4 like off-roaders. But I've always wanted to.
It's been done before.
Everybody's done it.
Yeah, it's not original.
Well,
but
the
they're
Porsche
just
944
so
is cheap.
cool.
They are cheap to pick them up.
Yeah, it's cheap.
All the Porsche people hate them because it's got the engine in the front, but it's got plenty of room. So we're like, let's go stick a big diesel in it. Yeah. Right? Let's
just go crazy.
Stick like one of the 606s in it. Let's turbo the hell out of that thing. And then we'll just make some really gnarly suspension for it and not keep it as a very sacred thing. Actually just go run it hard, and yes, it's going to get dented and we're going to ruin the paint and we're probably going to wreck it at some point.
We're going to buy a cheap ratty one though, so like it's not going to be a big deal.
All right, so what we've learned is we want to buy components like an OM606 diesel. Mm-hmm. We know that even if we put that in a Porsche, rally the heck out of that thing until we like crash it, we'll just take that engine out and probably someday, like if the Land Cruiser ever blows its stock engine,
stick it in there.
We'll stick it in there and then we'll have more power. So there's certain components like that engine specifically, I just want to get good at putting that engine in different things because it's just a really good platform to build on. So the 944 kind of gives us an excuse to get a 606, start playing around with them, have a lot of fun with it until we destroy a car.
And a diesel Porsche is just so ridiculous. You have to do it.
Yeah, I think so.
It's just crazy.
Like you said, we know we're not doing anything special. We know it's all been done. But if it's something you'd like to see two idiots do, I don't know. Have you seen two idiots do it though? I know there's a huge community out there that loves the old 7.3 Fords, and I know that they don't shine so well on an off-road channel, because if I was going to off-road, I would off-road almost anything else that we've talked about over taking that long of a Ford out. But the bottom line is that is our workhorse. It keeps the shop going, it does all of our metal runs, it does all of our firewood runs, and we just thought, there's a lot of interest in those, and there's been a million videos on solid axle swapping them, but I still never see videos where it's just dumbed down. And I'm not saying dumbed down to your guys' level. I'm saying dumbed down to my level. Like, I'm still really new to all this stuff. So if I got to go stick an axle in something and I make a video about it, it's kind of going to be from the angle of, wow, I've never done this before. Here we go. And we try to share a lot of detail, and we try to make it more approachable. So I think that one's just going to be fun to work on because it's just a good truck. I can't believe it's still going.
I love that truck. I drive it almost every day. I drive that truck to the store and to get stuff. I love it.
That thing's been in a major car accident.
Major.
Because the front axle is bent. And when you see how big, it's one of the TTV ones, but still, how big of a chunk of steel it is, and it is fully bent. That's all the projects that we have lined up right now. We probably are not going to get all those done. So yeah, if you have a favorite project on that list, let us know so we can, reshuffle. But I do have help, so that's a big deal because when I'm doing video editing and trying to get stuff made for you guys, he's like out here chopping and cleaning axles. So we can get so much more stuff done now.
I really think we're going to do some really cool stuff in the upcoming year. So I cannot wait.
Okay, guys, we'll check in with you later on. This is a new style of video. We won't do these all the time, but they're kind of like shop talks. Let us know if you like them. Maybe we try to work one in, I don't know, every other week or something like that, just to get you guys updates and behind the scenes stuff. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.
Talk to you guys soon.